are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports One. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Board. And once again, it is the Barnes and Tony show. Renee working on another short from the couch. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right, dude. Excited to, recap some nice hockey that went on last night. Obviously, there was some baseball as well. So, tough loss for the Mets yesterday.
Hey, stuff happens.
I know. We'll get into it, dude.
Yeah, we will. We will get into it. A lot to uncover. But first saying, hey, DTV crew, and I'm saying an OAG CT says best pod fire. And I'm saying, let's go to the world of Major League Baseball.
It's deep to left. It's 700. Albert Pujols.
Yeah, what a play. Stop it. Yep. And Alonso cracks one. The Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Drove deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right. A little bit of an audible here at the line of scrimmage. Starting off the baseball segment will be Tony finally getting his chance on the microphone to talk about the New York Mets here. Ironically enough, I'm talking about the Mets to start off our baseball segment for the first time in a while after a doubleheader sweep there in Detroit. Nothing was good, really from the get-go. That first game, let's see where. All right, Tigers game 1 win 6-5, right? And I'll just take you a little bit over the scoring, how we got there. You had Joey Lucchesi on the mound here for the Mets. And, the pitching matchup, obviously the narrative here was game 2. It's Scherzer coming back from the suspension. What's he going to do? Can the Mets bat stay hot? Lucchesi coming off a couple good starts too. It's just going to be like, now this is where the Mets can settle in. Their pitching is right, kind of where they want them to be. Their bats are doing well. Doubleheader against a team like Detroit. They suck, okay? Before yesterday, I think they were like 8-17 on the season or not, whatever it was. But their bats, ice cold. They literally, dude. The table was set here for a Mets sweep, as I alluded to yesterday, but the exact opposite happened, obviously, like I mentioned before. So starting it off right, both these games, the Mets just did not start off on the right foot here. As I mentioned, Lucchesi's on the mound there for the Mets. Gives up a homer early to Haas now. And just looking at this, in terms of the first inning, taking kind of play-by-play, it was a pretty big, offensive inning there for the Detroit Tigers here. They ended up going 3-0. A 3-run homer by Haas. How we got there was kind of tough, dude. It started off with a leadoff hitter, grounds out. That's great. We got Lucchesi. He's a very much an off-speed breaking ball type of pitcher. Looks for those ground outs and stuff. So kind of things are churning here for Veerling as he grounds out. Lucchesi's looking good. And then Baez on a single to right field. This was just a kind of a nice 88-mile-an-hour sinker there by Lucchesi, who, as I mentioned, goes to the sinker a lot. I don't understand why Baez I understand he's trying to induce that ground out, but Baez can be a good hitter. He hasn't been this entire season, but he had a great, day, whatever. We'll get to it. He gets on base. And then Green is a single to center. This ball, it was a tough ball. I want to say tough play by Nimmo. But you would expect him to get the out here. Again, 88-mile-an-hour sinker over the, lower part of the plate. For someone like Green to kind of pop it out, get some air underneath it. Again, imagine Lucchesi's like, all right, maybe they're kind of keying on the sinker, getting underneath it, not getting those ground balls induced. They know what's coming. Maybe make those adjustments, but we'll get into that too. But again, Nimmo not coming up with this catch here, ends up having, 2 runners on now and 1 out. Definitely does not look good. Again, tough ball, I guess, for Nimmo to play, but he kind of gets his glove on it, bobbles it, falls to the ground, glove gets a little tangled, ball gets lost, dude. He didn't really catch it in the best part of his glove, dude. Kind of like hit off the thumb a little bit. So I think he could have done a better job with tracking this ball and getting his glove on it. But then, of course, after that, after Green kind of singles on second, I guess, early on here, you have runners in the corners, and then Haas is up. He gets a homer off of Lucchesi. That sinker, again, that's kind of lower in the strike zone. Again, like at this point, Lucchesi is like, all right, dude, like they're definitely keying on my sinker. They know where it's going to be over the strike zone. I throw the sinker low in the strike zone to induce a ground ball for batters to get on top of the ball, but they're getting underneath it. They're lifting it. They're carrying it outside the field, just like that. 3-0 for the Mets. So a couple of like uncharacteristic things. One for Lucchesi, you're expecting him to have a better first inning here. Mets aren't starting off the right foot. The defensive errors in the outfield as well. And it honestly gets worse for the Mets in terms of defense as the day goes on, really, for both games. But those stupid early opportunities giving Detroit, again, like a 3-0 start to this game really sucks. You kind of go to the top of the second now. Actually, we had some life actually out of some players here. Tommy Pham hits a home run off of a nice curveball in the zone. He kind of gets that quick hands on it, which is nice for him. And then right after that, you have Kana homering, kind of back-to-back home runs there for the Mets, cutting that lead down to just 1 run. But unfortunately, the rest of the game, we know the final score here was 6-5. It was just Lucchesi giving up hits left and right. The inning right after that, Baez, he hits a solo shot, deep solo shot, 434 feet, I think for maybe his, I don't even know, 4th of the season or something like that. But nonetheless, again, same deal. Like it's like sinker, the breaking ball over the middle. They know where you're pitching, Lucchesi. Like I don't understand why he just kept throwing the sinkers or those curve balls. Again, hitting the lower part of the strike zone. You got to do something else. You got to attack the upper part of the strike zone, honestly, in my opinion. But at that point, I mentioned now it's 4-2 here. Going into the 5th, Nito has a big single that scores Beatty. I think just Beatty actually was RBI single here. Good heads up play by Beatty. I think there was a bobbled play at home plate while Beatty was at third. Whoever the Detroit catcher is couldn't come up with it. Beatty stands up, goes into home plate, scores for the Mets there. And honestly, good day on Beatty too. He had some good hits. He got on base there, right? And then Nito brought him in. You love that. And then right after that, Lindor hits a 2-run homer. Nito scores. Lindor obviously scores, making a 5-4 game. And just like that, the Mets are kind of in the lead. They got some stuff going here. Their bats are keeping them in this. And unfortunately, you fast forward here to the 8th inning. Lucchesi was pulled. His final line was 4 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, just 1 strikeout, no walks. So again, he didn't really have any issue, Lucchesi, locating his pitches. He was throwing the ball where he wanted it to go, but it's just, I feel like his strategy was off. The Tigers batters were keying on these breaking balls in the lower part of the strike zone. He wasn't really doing anything to fix it. I don't think he threw 1 fastball at all. He only threw 1 changeup. Everything was like the the swerve and the sinker. It was just all breaking ball pitches. He didn't really make any adjustments in game. And because of that, he only lasted 4 innings. He only threw 46 pitches. Again, it wasn't even like he was in trouble. He was down on counts against batters. He was locating those pitches well, but they were just hitting him, which sucks. Jacob Yacobonis comes in. He throws 3 innings of no hits, no walks, no earned runs, 3 Ks. Again, another pitcher who relies a lot on off-speed pitches. The sweeper a lot. Brian loves the sweeper.
I still have. I've heard like a quick thing. I think like Susan and John were talking about it quickly, but I still have not heard a full thing of where this appeared out of thin air. Do we have any more clarity on that? Have you heard anything from Ron and Keith? Or I feel like they would be all over this. No.
Yeah, they talk about it a little bit. They actually, especially, they talk about more in general because of Lucchesi with the swerve, Yacobonis with the sweeper, and then obviously Senga with the fork ball, right? But I don't know. I just maybe feel like we're just hearing about it more so because a pitcher on the Mets has that sweeper that he goes to so often. Maybe that's why, because it's finally in our market. I feel like there was no other pitcher who really had that pitch in our market before, right? Like
now it's 98% of all pitchers in Major League Baseball.
Really?
Yeah,
that
sweeper.
a fact?
Sweeper. I no, but Tony, there's
you're just saying
something. No, I'm serious, but there's something because I'm not kidding. Like me, all the Yankee games I've watched over the years, not until this year, I've not heard of it one time. And I know you had said you might have, or what was the deal? Had you heard it before this year, sweeper?
I have definitely heard of it. Yes.
Going
not
back
as
how
popular.
long?
I don't know. I feel like I heard it in college. Definitely.
Okay,
pitchers
but
having
there's
but
like
here and
an
there.
epidemic this
Yeah.
year. The wrong term, but you know what I mean.
Epidemic of sweepers, dude.
Well, they're getting hammered. Look at Clark Schmidt when he throws them over.
So moving on here again. Mets now sitting 5-4. You're feeling pretty good. Ottavino in here, bottom of the 8th. Totally fucking fumbles it. Again, Haas, who ends up going on to have literally like 5. He scores 5 of the 6 runs for Detroit here. Someone who really hasn't had like a phenomenal season. Like, oh my God, it's so hot coming into the series. No, nothing. Ottavino, it's just an RBI single, honestly, kind of ridiculous. But a sinker, 92 miles an hour over the middle of the plate. He takes it, I think, like, whatever, like hard right field. Again, Marte's on top of the ball, and he just does not come up with his catch. He slides, doesn't make the catch, doesn't come up with it. Thankfully, McNeil is there, but still scores 2 runs here to make it 6-5. And then, of course, you look at again, that theme of our outfielders not coming up with these big plays. Nimmo was one of them. Actually, Pham was another one where he just couldn't come up with a ball deep left center or left field, rather, kind of by the foul pole. And then no one was there covering it, too. So it was just like runners on the bases here. And then on top of this, the Marte can come up with this. You have 3 outfielders being challenged throughout this day, and all 3 of them just couldn't come up big when they were kind of challenged here. That's not great. I talked about us needing a left fielder at least, because Pham wasn't really, I think, producing very well defensively. Obviously, you know about Kana too. Nimmo's been great normally, and then Marte have had some kind of criticism above. Buck stood behind him saying, hey, it was a tough, not many outfielders could come up with that play, but still, again, like Theophil had the glove on it. Mike literally texted me. That's why I said Theophil. Marte had the glove on. He expected him to come up with the catch. And then, of course, 9th inning, it's like 3 up, 3 down. Nimmo, final out, strikeout. I think it was a check swing that ended up going past the plate. Nothing was good there. Really tough loss. But again, it's doubleheader. So you're like on to the next game here. We have Max Scherzer returning. You scored 5 runs against Detroit. Let's keep the bats going. We'll have a better pitching matchup. Let's fucking go. But that's not what happened. The Tigers.
Is this comedy hour, Tony?
The Tigers that have winning game 2, completing the sweep. They beat the Mets 8-1 here. And again, it's like first inning, like not starting off on the right foot. Lindor single to right field, takes a good hop off the wall here. Right fielder plays it. Lindor tries to stretch a single into a double, gets thrown out at second, end of the inning. Why? Like, why not? Like, why? Why are you doing that? Anyway, it's not great start. Like, why are you starting these games off like that? Gives you no momentum, gives you kind of an uneasy feeling. And then to take that uneasy feeling to the bottom of the first here, Max Scherzer walks the leadoff batter. I talk about it all the time. Nothing's ever good after the starting pitcher walks the leadoff batter. Absolutely sucks. And then from there, it was just an absolute hitting clinic for Detroit, against Max Scherzer. Dude, honestly, don't get me started. So that first inning, walks the leadoff hitter. Bad defense from there, I think there was like a line drive, a hard hit ball to Alonso, couldn't come up with it. Man gets on, not really helping Scherzer at all. And then again, just kind of going over some of the scoring that had happened, just in the first alone, bottom of the first, again, you walk the lead run. I think you give up a hit after that. Mayton gets a sac fly RBI from there because people are on base now. There's no outs. Torkelson doubles to center. Green scores at that point 2-0. But you end up getting out of that inning. But still, you give up, I think, like 3 hits. You walk the 1 walk, dude. 2 earned runs already from the first inning. Max Scherzer, not great. From there. And of course, it doesn't end there because bottom of the second, Haas, who's just seemingly this absolute god at the plate, homers, off of Max Scherzer. And just to look at that at bat, where Haas homers, Just a slider over the middle of the plate. Again, I mentioned, Scherzer, one thing he could do to be good in this outing is to locate his pitches, locate his fastball. Again, what does walking the leadoff hitter tell you? He's not locating. You can see Nito kind of, showing like, let's go up and away. He hits like up and in or up over the middle of the plate, just not locating his pitchers. This was a slider towards the outside, but still over the middle of the plate. Haas takes him deep. Of course, like his four-seamers hit 92, his slider hits 82. So it's nothing like it's blowing you away in terms of velocity here. Top of the fourth, you get Vogelback trying to like shock some life into the team here, with a double to right. Alonso scores, goes from first to home, I believe, actually. So some wheels on Alonso. You'll love to see that, making it 3-1. But again, bottom of the fourth, you had a homer given up by Vierling. I believe there was the 6th home run given up by Scherzer. He gives up his 5th and 6th with Haas and Vierling. Four-seamer, 92 miles an hour, middle of the plate. Nito is showing up and in. It's over the middle of the plate, not locating that fastball. Takes him yard. Right after that, Green singles to right to four-seam fastball, middle of the plate, hit 89 in the gun, velocity lowered. And this is, of course, just giving up hits in between. At this point, this was a Green single to the left. Ibanez was on base. McKinstry as well got a hit off for Scherzer. And at that point, Scherzer gets pulled. His final line, obviously nothing impressive. I think it was 4 2/3. 3 1/3, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 Ks, threw 75 pitches over those 3 1/3. So Detroit understanding here that Scherzer does not throwing great stuff, patient batters too, letting him work himself into jams and stuff like that.
Is he going to be all right? I mean, honestly.
No, I don't think he. I don't think he is.
Do you think he's still injured, or do you think it mentally?
Dude, it can't be an injury,
or he's just shot.
I think at this point he's just shot. I mean, again, four-seamer hitting 89 in the gun in the 4th inning.
But did he talk about it after the game or anything? Or
he talked about him just sucking. I mean, you know what he's like. He's obviously upset. Didn't really take questions. Yeah, very downtrodden. Of course, Buck is a manager who can defend his players. I'm sure they're talking behind closed doors here, but you're worried about Max Scherzer. I mean, that final line is absolute dog shit. You talk about is he not feeling well? I mean, he's just come off a 10-game suspension. He should be very well rested at this point. But location wasn't there, velocity wasn't there, getting absolute torched at the plate here by a former team, a team that doesn't have a great lineup. So kind of tough, dude. But you do have, an interesting bullpen outing as well on both of these games. You have a man coming in by the name of the man coming in by the man, Zach. Let's see if I can pronounce this right. I think it's Muckenhern, from North Dakota, making his first start for the MLB for the Mets here. The first ever pitcher or player from North Dakota to make it to the majors. And they're saying possibly the last because they dissolved that baseball program, I think, last year after he graduated or something like that.
Oh, okay. I hate hearing stuff like that.
I know. So sad, dude.
Yeah.
But to see him in the majors, that's great. Threw an inning and 2/3, gave up 1 hit. No strikeouts, no walks, or nothing like that. But still threw 10 pitches, 8 of them being strikes. Looked pretty good. And then you had Buteau come in for 2 1/3 innings, giving up an earned run. Curtis came in too for 2/3 at the end of the game there, giving up 2 hits, 1 earned run. So, I mean, honestly, between both games, again, this Detroit lineup isn't great. The Mets bullpen is good. You expect better out of Curtis, better out of Ottavino, obviously, after the end of the game. But, I mean, the way these games started, it gave the Detroit Tigers all of the confidence in the world in their at-bats. The entire lineup, all of them at least got a hit. You talked about Haas, I think hitting 2 home runs in the day, scoring 5 out of the 6 runs in the first game. It made this poor lineup look like, they were like the best lineup in baseball right now. Their bats are enormous. To score, 12 runs, over these 2 games, it sucked. And then again, Michael Lorenzen too, threw 7 innings the second game, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 1 K, threw 96 pitches. He's another pitcher, who relies on a lot of ground outs, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, the lineup of the Mets were making no adjustments that second game for a pitcher like Lorenzen. This was his best outing of the season. I mean, his ERA was over a 5 coming in here. And again, you're making him look like he's Garrett Cole out there throwing 7 innings of 1 earned run ball. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you have to find a way to hit him. Do what the Tigers did to Lucchesi in the first game. Make adjustments. Like, they're going to be breaking balls lower part of the strike zone because he wants to induce these ground balls. Make adjustments as a lineup here. Like, you got to do something. At the end of the day, Nimmo was pretty quiet the first game. He got 1 hit the second game. Lindor, again, pretty quiet the second game. He had the home run to kind of rally something in the first game, but 1 for 4 the second game. I mentioned he got thrown out at second, trying to stretch a single into a double. McNeil was 0 for 3. Alonso 1 for 3. With a run, though. Vogelback at the DH spot, 1 for 4. Kind of 1 for 4. Bottom of the lineup, Beatty, Guillorme, Alvarez, all 0 for 3. You only struck out twice. That's great. You weren't striking out, but you were just hitting into ground balls all freaking day. 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. 5 men left on base. I mean, nothing was good in the bats or the pitching the second game. And then obviously the pitching was your big issue the first game. So, you're really worried. I was saying, Brian, too, before, like, you come into this doubleheader, you have Lucchesi who's been pitching well. You have Scherzer coming back, who's one of your aces here. Your bats were hot. You're expecting the Mets to come in here and kind of dominate the Tigers. I mean, your team is looking like finally for the first time this season what it should have looked like when you start this year. Like, you have all your players in place. The team that you built is finally on the field together. You're expecting, again, Lucchesi to throw well, Scherzer to throw well, bats to be hot. And it was kind of the opposite of that. So as a Met fan, you're super worried. You have Verlander today, which is great, but I mean, it seems like that these bets that you've made on bringing these older veteran pitchers, I mean, obviously for Scherzer right now, it's not working out. For Verlander, it hasn't worked out yet. It's his first start of the year here. So, you're definitely, trepidatious here as a Mets fan going into the rest of the season. You got to figure out a way to get consistent at bats, consistently good at bats. And then obviously you have to solve your starting pitching because you have a good bullpen. And they're getting overworked right now. It's not going to be good down the stretch of the season.
And, obviously, of course, just, you're not happy with their performance. But what was your thoughts on, because we've kind of had what's the proper term for it? I guess an order of sequence. What's your thought on going Mets first? Like, did you feel like it was almost nice today? Because, like, you're just, like, fired up, like, annoyed, like, you just wanted to, like, get it off your chest or not?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I was definitely making my notes. It was 2 games for the Mets yesterday too, so a lot to cover, a lot to go over. Some good things, mostly bad. So I enjoyed leading off with the Mets, dude.
Yeah. No, sometimes you need to just unleash it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, and we've talked about this so many times over the last couple of years, but it's like baseball, how quick things change. Like, basically the way you feel, the way I feel, and obviously I'm still recovering. I'm not there yet, but still we've somewhat like kind of switched places over the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 days,
Yeah, basically. I mean, especially since the Mets weren't even playing.
Right. And then you had that BS on Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
Then,
so,
it's tough. It really is tough. And too, when they put this roster together, the first thing I said to you is like, where's the youth? Yeah. What young guys are they bringing in? And that's one thing that I feel like they've ignored. I mean, do I feel pretty good that, Verlander should be okay? I kind of do, at least for this year specifically. Yeah. Scherzer, that's tough. 89 with the fastball. That's rough.
So rough, dude.
So it's going to be interesting to see, what they can do. Do they, try a flash in the pan in the minor leagues? Do they sign somebody off the street? Do they try to do some minor trade just to like kind of improve the team? It'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know. It's so tough because, like you said, they don't have a lot of prospects necessarily that they want to trade.
But you know what I mean? If you're double and triple A pitching, is that incompetent? Then you need to fire your scouting department. Then you can't bring up one guy to make a start.
I know.
Than whoever started. What was it? Was that 2 days ago, or was it yesterday? The guy, the reliever.
Yeah, Reyes.
That was 2 days ago.
Geez, no, it couldn't have been because they were all canceled. It was like last Friday. No.
Oh, no. Why does that seem like it would just happen though? That was really
that was like
Friday?
Their last game they played, dude.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, dude. I mean, I agree. They have to bring up someone, and again, like it has to be like they brought in a lot of bullpen guys. Like Jacob Bono's been doing well. Again, he pitched 3 good innings yesterday, but you need to bring in a starter, dude. Like it can't just be McGill was your guy who was a youthful starter. Like
now, does Buffer get any blame because he mentioned the 25 last doubleheaders and he did bring up that number.
He did bring up that number. I talked about it. I mean, it's kind of ironic, I suppose. Maybe it is a mush situation.
Yeah. Well,
So-
hey, he can take accountability, every now and then.
Yeah, it's fine. Speaking of which, we have actually a lot of comments we should be getting to here.
What do we got?
Going back to OAGCT says, may the 4th be with you. I don't know if you know Star Wars Day. May 4th,
I've heard it religiously the past 3-4 years. Yeah.
Donna Barnaby says, good morning, guys. Another dreary day, but the sun is shining down at Yankee Stadium.
When I went to, I had to go to my house the other day, so I saw my mom, and she just was saying how, and she always tells me this, but it's just every day she makes it a priority to watch this show and how much she looks forward to it. So that's what it's all about, Tom.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, dude. Speaking of mothers, my mom is in here saying good morning.
The mother's
trip, dude. We heard about it. Prefer, hello, Mrs. Materiello. And then Prefer says, I'm hoping a 1-hour Yankee talk first, then 10 minutes Mets talk today. Obviously, Prefer being a little facetious in terms of what normally goes on here in the sports port. And then he says, I'm a jinx. Prefer with the accountability.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like I said, the feelings have we flip flopped here, and you're feeling
so crazy.
Like I was a couple days ago. Like I said, work to be done, but good stuff last night, and once again the Yankees battling back. They end up defeating the Cleveland Guardians 4-3 in 10 innings, and we'll talk about how we got there and got off to one of those starts where it's like, are you kidding? Here we go again. And we said that a couple times throughout this game, but somehow we ended up coming out on top. But the first inning was just a mess. Gleyber Torres had an opportunity to turn a double play. He doesn't. The ball goes into the outfield. It ends up leading to 2 runs. So you're dealing with your worst starting pitcher on the mound in Clark Schmidt. 2 runs are in with a struggling offense. You're not feeling great. But luckily, Calhoun, picks up the Yankee offense there in the 5th inning, and this was after Clark Schmidt in the top half of the inning was removed from the game. So you don't even get 5 out of your starter, but only allowing the 2 runs was all right. But nice to see Willie Calhoun, a guy that I've complained about, come in there back-to-back games and hit some big home runs. So he gets the Yankees on the board there, and it was a rocket to right. And it's like, boy, it makes you think like, well, if he could just kind of put that together, it would be something special. But then also a batter, what was it? I just want to see here. So it was, so it was 2 batters later. Jake Bauers hits his first Yankee home run. We talked about how he's been tearing it up in the minors. I think he had 9 home runs at AAA already. Left-hander, so the perfect type of guy to give a shot. He used to be a top prospect. Actually used to be on the Guardians at one point, was on the Rays as well. And he hits a home run to right. It was his first major league home run since 2021 against the Yankees with the Rays, which was kind of ironic. So that tied the game at 2. Yankee bullpen doing its job, as it's done for the most part. Ian Hamilton pitches an inning and 2/3 scoreless. Jimmy Cordero, an inning scoreless. Ron Marinaccio retires 5 batters in a row. And this is where it's like with Boone, and luckily this didn't end up costing us, but it's like, are you kidding me? We've seen the struggles of Clay Holmes. We see how Marinaccio, how well he's pitched. And I know this was the second game in a row he's pitching, but he's thrown 23 pitches, 17 strikes. There's no struggle with him whatsoever. There's nobody on. He's dealing with the bottom of the lineup, and frigging Boone takes him out for Clay Holmes. And of course, what do you think transpires after that? And I know Clay Holmes, it wasn't like he gave up home runs or whatever, but it just has not worked with him late in the game. We've seen that time and time again. There's a fly ball that's hit into center field and left center field, actually. So IKF, who actually is playing his first game in left field of his career, and it's like, geez, we need to win every game possible, and we're having a guy make his debut in left field. I don't know about that. Anyway, Oscar Gonzalez, comes up after that ball falls in, and he hits another weak fly ball, and Harrison Bader and IKF collide into one another. Bader has to leave the game. And these are just little bloop hits, but it's like, this is like the 3rd or 4th time in a row that Clay Holmes has blown it. So really tough to see that. And then Oswaldo Cabrera comes in to replace him in the field. luckily they're able to keep the Guardians, off the board after that single. But here you are, bottom of the ninth. You're going against Clase, and you need a run. So I'm just thinking, geez, I mean, I know we have our good hitters coming up, but I do not feel good about this. Luckily, Anthony Rizzo, the veteran hitter that he is. Yes, Michael, I know you're listening, and we'll get to your comment in a second. He gets a hit. So he's on. So now, the fans are into it. They bring Oswald Peraza off the bench to pinch run. He steals second, but then he gets injured. It's a wet field there. Rain's coming down. He doesn't slide on the steal, so it looked like he hit his ankle. He tried to run. He couldn't. So then they have to summon Aaron Hicks off the bench to pinch run for him at second base. DJ LeMayo hits a bullet grounder, unfortunately, right to the first baseman. Advances Hicks to third base. So now you have a runner on third. One out, and Willie Calhoun comes up big again, a single to left, absolutely rips it. So he seems like all of a sudden, after being a deer in headlights, he's locked in. That scores Aaron Hicks. So we have a tie game at 3. The Yankees switch pitchers again, going to Albert Abreu, who had been great other than the 6-run appearance in Texas. And he does the job. He strikes out Rosario. He walks Jose Ramirez to set up the double play. Obviously, goes runner on second, extra innings. Josh Naylor hits into a double play. Glaber redeems himself, makes a great play where he turns his body all the way to the side and picks it up off the ground, flips it to second. They get Naylor first. They get out of the inning. So now the Yankees obviously in a position of strength here. So you have who was it on second base? You have. Was it? I guess, yeah, Glaber. Yeah, Glaber on second base. And then, so then starting the inning, Jake Bowers is up, and he walks. So now you have first and second. So you're thinking, all right, I mean, we need to score one run. IKF's up. He has, experience bunting. Gets the bunt down. Michael Bunting, Tony, gets the bunt down. Perfect execution. So now you have runners on second and third, one out. So same situation you just had the inning before. And Kyle Higashioka's due up. They go to Jose Trevino. And, it was funny. He whiffs through the first 2 pitches. Trevor Stefan is pitching for Cleveland at this point, who actually was ironically a Rule 5 selection from the Yankee organization. And that's how he ended up in Cleveland. But he swings through the first 2 pitches, and then Paul O'Neill is literally probably 10 seconds before the pitch is delivered talking about, all right, I know this is tough. Trevino, he's been on the bench all night. He's got to find a way to barrel up the baseball. It's a slider. It's probably out of the strike zone, and it's just one of those where he lifts it just enough over, the shortstop and second base hole into the outfield. Game over. Yankees win. So once again, Trevino coming up big. And I know a lot of times the stats aren't
Yankees.
You haven't heard that in a while.
I know, dude.
These stats aren't gaudy for him, but he's had some big hits. I know he had at least one walk-off last year. He gets another one here. The Yankees end up winning this series after blowing the first game, battling back the next 2. It's still only 4 runs. I get it. But there was so much positive over the last 2 nights. It really pumps some life into the Yankees as they have an off day today, traveling to Tampa for a huge series with the Rays. And like we talked about yesterday, playing them 7 of their next 10 games.
Oh, yeah.
Going to be huge. And the fact, too, with the reduced division play schedule, they're only playing them 6 more times the rest of the season. So this stretch is very important here. Obviously, it's unfortunate you're down, some key cogs. I did see something today that Bader, they're expecting to be all right. I didn't see anything on Peraza, but that would be a good thing. But I'm excited about Bowers. He was raking in the minor leagues in that left-handed swing. Maybe he's the next Matt Carpenter. I know we thought it was Franchi. Maybe it's him. So it's nice to see that. And then Willie Calhoun, I know he embarrassed himself, but boy, he had some huge hits the last couple of days. So if he's going to be ready to go and hitting home runs into that right field porch, I'll sign up for it any day. So nice to recover here. Nice to have guys step up. But I really just hope moving forward. And like I said, I know these were bloop hits, but it's like clearly good things don't happen when Clay Holmes is in a game where you have a 1-run lead or your game's tied. Idiotic. And especially bases loaded. Marinaccio is completely locked in and unhittable.
Right.
And there's 2 outs at the bottom of the lineup and you're taking him out. Tell me that's not asinine.
Why
Tony.
did he do that?
oh, I like the matchup here. He was like defensive in
Come
the
on,
post game.
really?
Yeah, like the matchup here. He's gonna come in next inning. He's one of our top reliever guys. He has to be in there. That's what he's saying. It's like, well,
that's ridiculous.
You need to win every single game that you can. And this was very close. And too, Tony, that if Anthony Rizzo didn't get a single there, I mean, yeah, 1, 2, 3, done. Yeah. But because he got the single, because you got the pinch runner in there, I think it just made the world a difference, luckily. But
that's ridiculous.
At the end of the day, nice to get a walk-off win. And, of course, it's going to be a tough series in Tampa, but at least there's some momentum moving forward, and you just hope moving forward. And I heard watching the game last night, fire Cashman, fire Boone chants.
Oh, from
Boone
the crowd,
sucks.
yeah,
You can hear it on the television broadcast. Of course, Michael Kay doesn't bring it up at all.
Well, how do you feel about that now? Since like you and Boone and Cash were so tight, are you worried about your friends?
But Tony, see, the thing, there could be something where they were very nice to me, but it doesn't mean that they're nice at doing their job. And I think that's the difference. So you'd hope it's a learning experience, and it's a shame. Like Holmes is really almost turning into Chapman. It's unfortunate, but they haven't even tried to just start bringing him in the 6th inning. Like, let's do that.
Yeah,
let's do that. Maybe a game we're up 3 in the 6th, bring him in, or we're down 2 in this. Like, not a tie game at the end of the game. I just bet too many bad things have been happening. I think it's important here. This is definitely a situation where you're really gunning for 2 out of 3. Tampa Bay 16-2 at home. So tomorrow it'll be Brito versus Chirinos, who's actually pitched very well this year. 14 innings, a .64 ERA. So we'll have to see. Not a strikeout guy, 8 strikeouts in 14 innings, but that's going to be big. Obviously we'll talk about it more tomorrow. But it's nice to have some energy back, some good feels back. There's a long way to go. There's a lot of guys, due to come back. But I do think it's going to keep getting better and better. And I really have a strong belief that the worst is behind us. But of course, it's as we know with the Mets and all the other teams, it's a game by game basis, and we just have to see, what happens.
Yeah, dude. But you look more hopeful than I do, so that's good, dude.
But I mean, am I right for some? And not that it was ever over, but I mean, am I right to have a little optimism here? Like the pitching for the most part has been pretty good. The offense, they're finding ways the last 2 games. I mean, you would think it can only go up from here.
Yeah, I think so. The Guardians have proven to be a hard team to put away,
right?
In many different times. So I mean, it wasn't like this was like an easy breezy team that you could really just think, no matter what, we're going to beat them. Especially given what Clay Holmes is doing, IKF in left field, like the mistakes that were made to still come out
Boone
to come out on top. I mean, it was a huge gritty win. So yeah, that's something to be optimistic about for sure.
Yeah, and you just hope you never get this close to 500.
Yeah,
winning percentage again. And speaking of a winning percentage, Tony, I think we might have had historically one of our worst winning percentage pick-wise yesterday. The only winning pick, your New York Yankees. Everything else, completely sayonara. So you have a 2-point lead now, 31-29. And I know Verlander's on the hill. Who's he opposed by this afternoon?
That's a very good question.
Is it this afternoon or is it tonight?
Rodriguez. The game's at 1:10.
Eduardo Rodriguez, the former Red Sox.
Correct.
So what are your honest thoughts here?
Honest thoughts. I really do. Scherzer's gonna. I think he come out here and he's gonna throw a gem. Sorry, a Verlander.
No coffee here.
No, dude. I actually have had a cup. Believe it or not, dude.
You're due for a second.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was one of those days dude, honestly, just because I knew I got the coffee at Tiffany's and I slammed it. Before I got here, it was empty, the cup.
Wow.
And I knew it felt like a back-to-back type of day.
Let's go.
Stupid. All right. So Verlander on the mound. I really do think he's gonna come out here and throw a gem. I would imagine his, pitch count is gonna be monitored. Probably nothing much higher than 80, 85, right?
So you're hoping for 5 innings, basically?
I'm thinking to get through 6.
I mean, that's a pretty
I think
efficient 6 innings. 85 pitches.
I literally think it's going to be
weak lineup is good. Obviously.
Yeah, weak lineup is good here. They've been hot yesterday, but I just think Verlander throws velocity. It's not Scherzer, right? He's not going to be coming out here looking like Scherzer. He can throw fast. He can be accurate. He can locate his pitches. I really do think it's going to be like what we saw last year, for the Astros. So give me 6 innings of no earned run ball here. I'll say 8 strikeouts over those 6 innings. I think that would be really nice. And, maybe a walk, 2 hits, nothing crazy, having a great outing. But again, pitch counts just monitored, whatever. You got to take him out. That's fine. That's okay. And then obviously, you're looking for the bats to kind of come alive a little bit here today. Someone against Eduardo Rodriguez, looking at, his last few outings here. Baltimore's most recent, where he threw 5 2/3, gave up 1 earned run off a solo shot. Game before that was against Baltimore. Again, 7 innings, no earned runs. Game before that against Cleveland, 8 innings, no earned runs, 10 Ks, 4 hits. So he's been pitching really well. Got banged up a little bit by Houston, but that was just kind of a blimp because then after that, Toronto was a breeze for him too. Kind of tough. He is a good pitcher. I think your key here is to try and be patient at the plate, try and work the counts, get him to throw a lot of pitches by the 5th inning, try to get him out of there, get into the Tigers bullpen. Because all those games where he threw good outings, the runs given up, they're all losses because the bullpen came in, gave up runs, gave him no help. And of course, the weak lineup gave, it was tight games. So Verlander needs to throw a good game, keep the score low on the Tigers side. And then, like I said, try to get into the bullpen early because it's a hittable bullpen. So give me the Mets here. I'm going to say, I'll say 4-1.
And what's Verlander's final line? I know 6 innings.
What did I say? 6 innings, no earned runs. I said 8 Ks, 3 hits, and a walk.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Robertson in or?
Robinson in for sure,
he didn't
dude.
pitch yesterday.
Didn't pitch yesterday. He may even be throwing 2 innings. Who knows, dude?
No, and I think A-Rod said he's ambidextrous. I remember on Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah.
It. I don't know if you've heard that before.
I've heard it, but I've never. I think you actually may have mentioned it, but I'm not. So it's cool, I guess. But also, actually, real quick, going back to the doubleheader yesterday, a little guy by the name of Zach Short got some looks at shortstop for the Tigers. Are you aware of that kid's name? Sacred Heart University graduate, played baseball at SHU.
Did you interview him?
No. He was a little bit younger than I.
Did Thorne interview him?
I don't think so.
Did Michael?
No.
Did Renee?
No, we have no interview, no archive interview. Maybe now, we can get him on Dreamers Free or something, but looking at his stats again, drafted by the Tigers, actually drafted by the Cubs, it looks like.
17th round.
17th round here. Got some looks last season at Detroit, but this year, looks like he has 5 games played, 10 plate appearances. So 9 at-bats. He got 4 hits. Has got 2 runs here. A dinger on the season, 1 RBI. Only struck out twice out of those 9 plate appearances. So honestly, pretty good. Looks good defensively too as well. Made a couple of good defensive plays against the Mets yesterday in that second game. So thank you. Shout out to him. Sacred Heart Baseball. That's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, that's good stuff there for sure. Before I do my pick, I think we have to catch up on the comments.
Yes, we do here, actually. There's a couple here. Michael Thiefel says, legends, the best in sports news. Don't at me. No other shows cover golf, hockey, and baseball like you. Obviously, we cover the major sports, but I'm talking off-season, getting people ready for war.
Let's fucking go.
But first, as at Michael Thiefel, I'm so happy for Embiid winning MVP.
Yeah. And then he just,
it's Embiid. What a fucking
and then he says, "I love my extra coffee." I mean, you could never have too much coffee.
Extra coffee. You really can't, dude. I mean, I think it's we got a little lunch meeting after this.
You're gonna have a cup.
You got it on the way back. Hit throwing it in for sure, dude. Afternoon cafe, bro.
Don't you just sometimes want to try the Dan Campbell just to see what it feels like?
I don't know if I can.
The extra large coffee, 3 espresso shots back to back, 2 of them.
That's crazy.
You'd be fine though. You would be fine. Jeez. That is funny though. That is good stuff. And Michael, as always, hitting it on the head. So obviously a little different feel here from me. No Yankees, but I'm gonna go to a former Yankee. I think he can get the job done today. Give me Jameson Taillon and the Chicago Cubs, 15-15, 7-7 away from Wrigley Field, going up against the Nationals, 12-18, 5-12 at home. Patrick Corbin on the mound. Been a disaster the past 3-4 years. Better his last couple starts, but I think this Cubs lineup can hit him around a little bit. Dansby Swanson, Tony, will hit for the cycle en route. And I'm going to say, too, Taillon, a nice, clean 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, 3 hits, no walks. First victory of the season in a Cubs 5-1 victory over the Washington Nationals.
Wow, dude. All right, looking at the rest of the docket here. Oh, dude. White Sox beating the Twins.
White Sox beating anybody?
I know, dude.
Maybe everyone's saying maybe it wasn't Lou Russo's fault.
Russo? Yeah.
Bad collection of players, I guess. No leadership.
Kind of ridiculous, honestly, dude.
Yeah.
I can't believe Kansas City won yesterday, dude. Anyway, Greinke, dude.
Did he actually pitch well or no? It was a shootout.
I'm actually not sure. Let's see. Kansas City 6-0.
Wow, Greinke.
I know, dude. Greinke went 5 innings, no earned runs, 3 Ks.
Here we go. Turning back the clock.
Chapman, 1 inning, through 6 pitches, no hits, no earned runs, no strikeouts.
Yeah,
though.
He's back.
So think about that, dude. All right, just real quick here. I guess just give me the Braves and the Marlins here. Jesus Luzardo actually on the mound for the Marlins. We've seen him against the Mets not do well. You look at the rest of his season though, it's like okay. Most recently, Cubs 6 1/3, 2 earned runs. Cleveland 4 1/3 though, 4 earned runs. Philly 6 innings, 3 earned runs. So I mean, he's given up a lot of runs. I feel. So far, they have a young buck in Dylan Dodd for the Braves starting on their side. You look at him, he's been kind of getting banged up, got absolutely popped by San Diego in his second start of the season, 4 1/3, 7 earned runs, 10 hits, 2 home runs. But I just feel like Miami's lineup, I think it's still very doable for a young guy like him. Braves have had the Miami Marlins number all year so far this season. They played twice before. Braves won 6-0 and 14-6. So I just think the bats, even if Dodd doesn't do well, the bats can overcome it all. So I would say give me the Braves here. I don't know, man. I want to say like 6-3.
All right. I'm going to take the Orioles over the Royals. Royals, probably the only team that they're better in then is probably the Oakland A's. And Grayson Rodriguez on the hill for Baltimore. They've just had such a good start. And Mateo, I mean, it's just been unbelievable for them this year. You think about Cedric Mullins as well, Ryan Mountcastle, Adley Rutschman.
Oh, yeah.
Such a collection of young talent.
They lost yesterday.
They really have to be proud of how they've rebuilt this team. And just because they lost yesterday doesn't mean they're going to lose today.
Well, I mean,
that's why I didn't pick them yesterday.
You could not pick them yesterday, okay?
Anyway, I just think that this shouldn't. I think, especially after getting blanked yesterday, I think they're going to reverse that against the Royals times 2. 10-0 Orioles. Mountcastle, 3 dingers, 8 RBIs, Tony. That's it.
Prove a point,
That's
dude?
it. Yeah. What's up?
All right. My next game, we're doing third and final.
Yeah, but you have meatballs?
Oh, my mother says Brian Anthony has meatballs. Dude, in the fridge, dude. I can bring some in tomorrow morning.
Wow. A little meatball morning.
Meatball morning.
Meatball
That'd be
Fridays.
absolutely ridiculous. Oh, yeah, it's a tradition like no other. But you won't be here tomorrow, actually, right?
No, I will. No, because I'm leaving I don't know, my flight's at 4:00.
Oh, okay.
What, was there something else planned now?
No, not at all. I'm happy you're gonna be here tomorrow.
Okay, good. We're good. Ready to go?
We're good. We're ready to go.
Regular time. Done. Everybody know. Can they set their reminders?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Dude, definitely.
Quick. Gotta go.
All right. Last game here. I was just eyeing up a team here.
And then I had to distract you.
Gosman against Bello. Bello's been working on his stuff. 7 ERA though. 0-1, dude. Give me Toronto against Boston.
At
Why
Fenway,
not?
they might score 15.
Honestly, absolutely ridiculous. And Gosman, honestly, I believe the last outing I watched him, he actually had a pretty good outing. Or maybe it was 2 outings ago. No, it was against Seattle. 7 innings, no earned runs, 13 Ks. Gosman looking fucking vintage Gosman. And then before that, against the Yankees, that's what I watched. 7 innings, 11 Ks against the Yankees.
Yep.
Let's keep it going, huh? 7 innings again, double digits for 3 times in a row against Boston. Why not go 12? 7 innings, 12 Ks for Gosman. Absolutely ridiculous outing from him. Give me Toronto with the let's say shutout, dude. Let's say 3-0.
And speaking of ridiculous, Tony, the A's are ridiculous. The Mariners are disappointing so far, but George Kirby honestly has a chance to pitch a no-hitter today in Oakland.
Why not?
2.93 ERA. A's 3-14 at home, 6-25 overall. Rucinski on the mound. This could get ugly quick. Ty France, been a little bit of an uneven start here. 5 hits, including 3 doubles and 2 home runs en route to a Mariner 13-0 victory over the Oakland A's. I was just going to say, too, how crazy is it that the Cardinals are 10-21?
Kind of ridiculous how much they suck, dude.
So I think, we think we're tight. I mean, we know, St. Louis has some great baseball fans. They have to be disappointed.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So a little out of sequence here, Tony, but one thing that I usually mention from the top, if you could just, actually, I guess there is a little room for us to go to the course here.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Depends what day of the week we are at. But yes, in progress right now, as we previewed yesterday, the Wells Fargo Championship, and obviously this from Quail Hollow Club in Charlotte, North Carolina. Right now, your solo leader, Kevin Streelman, 4 under par through 14. You got Gary Woodland and KH Lee tied for second at 3 under par. A host of golfers at 2 under par, including Sahith Theegala and Rory McIlroy. So they are looking at themselves at the top of this leaderboard. But obviously, early on here, just looking further down, Tony Finau even through 10. I'm not sure if Jason Day has teed off. I want to say he has an afternoon tee time. I don't think he has teed off. But your low man, or I guess it would be high man right now, Tyson Alexander, 9 over through 13. Also Taylor Montgomery, who had been on a heater, has cooled off, 7 over through 15 holes. So those guys bringing up the rear. And Day is actually +2 through 11. So that's a little bit of a tough start for Jason Day. But I think this is going to be a great tournament. Definitely, real excited about it. We'll obviously keep you posted and give you another leaderboard update before the end of the round. And we're thinking 2 outings in 2 weeks, Tony, right? Or no?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, we should try to put something together because Matt was talking. I think what would it be? A week from Tuesday that he's ready to go. So, if we could, get a couple additional golfers.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
All right. So yeah, we'll have to talk with Michael about that one. Yes. I know he's been practicing.
Yeah.
But let's go now to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here's Matthews. Scores! Hat-trick goal!
My goodness, this is a great shot.
Big hit on the far side by McCarr. He flattens Jordan's skull. Oh my goodness.
That's the gun right back. Terrifying and robbed by Shesterkin. That's brilliant from Igor Shesterkin.
It's a breakaway to win it in overtime. McDavid scores the winner in overtime.
All right. So the NHL playoffs.
Another power play goal.
I wish we were talking about that. And it was tough too because yesterday I golfed with Stacks. He was mentioning he took it easy to an extent, but then we watched the first period together. We were getting food after, and so he had a little bit of a tough time.
Right. The Devils game.
Yeah, the Devils game. So we saw those 2 goals in the first period there. And just was not a good night for your New Jersey Devils. Maybe they're a little worn out from this Rangers series.
Oh, definitely.
They end up losing 5-1 to the Hurricanes. I was talking to Choker. He's riled up. Game 2 will be there tomorrow. So maybe, last second tickets, get in the door. Why not, right?
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
But looking at, the goal scorers here, you had Jarvis had his 3rd, PC with his 1st, Brady Shea, your guy, with his 1st,
yeah, brother.
And Jesper Fast. An empty netter at the end, his 3rd. And, Schmid was pulled. They went to Vanacek. He was 10 of 11. Schmid, 8 of 11. And Frederick Anderson only had to defend 18 shots. So, I don't know. Just looking at this on the surface and what I saw early on in this game, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, but I just feel like they're definitely fatigue played a factor in this loss.
Yeah. Again, I was kind of mentioning a little bit I think after the series or whenever about the Devils, whatever, about how the fact that, they've never been here before. They haven't played this much hockey together, even individually, most of them too. So they're certainly experiencing, something new at every game after this. This is kind of uncharted territory for them. So it's pretty interesting to see how they're reacting. Again, you look at this game face value. And again, thinking of the past, I mean, what happened the first game against the Rangers, huh? Like,
Right.
Devils, they were absolutely lost, couldn't do anything. And then they kind of make their necessary adjustments. But I don't know. It's tough. It's tough, dude. I don't think Carolina has such a better defense. They're well-rounded. They led the league in goals from the blue line, too. So they can really hit you from the perimeter, and then you give them chances, down close to the net. You let them play an interior game. They're going to score on you too. So they're a very dynamic team that can really hit you from any place. So it should be interesting to see how the Devils really make adjustments. Interesting, honestly, stats coming into this game. Carolina, actually, inherently, I think they did okay against the Devils in the regular season. They had 4 shorthanded goals against them, but their power play was 1 for 14 against the Devils in the regular season. So pretty interesting how I believe they went 0 for 2 or 0 for 3 last night on the power play too. All of their goals coming from 5-on-5 hockey, where they were just absolutely like really dominant. I mean, after the first period, I think it was 8 shots to 1. Devils really had no offense, anything going. He'll get some of the goals, that you mentioned. Pesci started off early for the Hurricanes.
You think I'm funny? How am I funny? Come on, Tony.
Brian.
Come on. If Matt was here, he
would jump right in on that, dude.
Yeah.
So they go up 1-0 pretty early. Jarvis with a second goal, kind of a weird scenario here. Was Siegenthaler, the defenseman for the Devils, who did so well actually against the Rangers, loses his helmet in a battle across the boards. The Devils are in their own zone. And, the rule is in hockey is that if you lose your helmet, you're supposed to skate to the bench and get your own helmet. But in this instance, he's involved in play. So he's still in the play, which is fine. And then second he gets out of play, he's supposed to go to the bench. And he does that. But it's again, this is Siegenthaler's a rookie here. He's 25 years old, hasn't had a lot of experience. I think per rules, because of where the puck was, he could have still stuck around. Instead, while the puck is in the Devils zone, he's out of the play, he skates away. All of a sudden, Devils are a man down in their own zone unexpectedly. There's no adjustment made. Jarvis is in front of the net. Puck gets pooped out. He's unmanned. Bang. Goal right there, up 2-0. So I think a big, kind of a stupid mental mistake by the Devils. And at that point, the Devils are so far behind. People forget how fast the Hurricanes are too. They're not just a defensive team. So then, the Devils start making mistakes, put the Hurricanes in the power play. Even though the Hurricanes, the power play isn't good against Devils, you're still down a man for 2 minutes. It's number one, it's tiring for your team. You're down the man, you're playing defense for 2 minutes, hard defense too. So in a team, in a scenario where the Devils are already, haven't played this many games, could be fatigued. Now you're playing down a man a lot. That's not good. You have to avoid that. And then because of that, second period comes along, power play for the Hurricanes that kind of spilled over there. They're able to score. Kotkaniemi, 2 minutes into the second period, there scores, and they're up 3-0. You're not coming back. Second period, down 3 goals. It's very, very, uncharacteristic of a team like the Hurricanes to give up a 3-goal lead in the second period, even against a team like New Jersey, who we know how fast they can skate and everything, but they just did not put themselves in the position from the get-go to start. Again, expect it for adjustments to be made. Schmid he had some good saves, but he got bombarded. After that Kotkaniemi goal early in the second, they pull him. They put Vanacek in, who, of course, gives up one more to Shea. But I mean, I don't know. I question a little bit the Devils' quickness to pull Schmid. Again, that can't feel good. You're putting in Vanacek, who's, again, another rookie goaltender who's not necessarily played these types of games. And on top of it, it's coming in kind of cold. I mean, I don't know, man. It just doesn't sit well with me. It seems like the Devils have their back against the walls already. But again, I mean, look what they did to the Rangers. So you really never know. But I would expect Carolina now to kind of, run away a little bit with this series, dude.
Well, I just feel like it's just not good to have a question in net. You don't know who's going to start at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
starts
you're talking about not even actually just the actual circumstance of not knowing who your goaltender is going to be on a day-to-day basis, but also the the mental aspect that has on goaltenders.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure, like, again, like that's in Vanacek's mind. Oh, am I going to be like, I probably will be, I might be coming in at some point. Am I going to start tomorrow? Like, that's not good. It should be solidified in a series against a team as well organized that have great role players as the Hurricanes. Again, if I'm Chokery, I'm licking my chops right now, dude.
Yeah. No, I would imagine, he's fired up. He was asking, how Stacks was dealing with it. I was like, silent for now. We'll see what happens. But
yeah, dude.
Tough one, taking on the chin for sure. Speaking of taking it on the chin, the Oilers dropped game 1 here 6-4.
Yeah,
to the
baby.
Vegas Golden Knights, who outscored them 3-2.
Tony, come on.
In the third period, after outscoring them 3-2 in the first period.
Consistent jacking.
And when you're consistently jacking, that's how you get 6-4. Scoreless second period in between. Looking at how we got there, Draisaitl actually had a hat trick, but wasn't good enough. The only other goal, or was it 4 goals?
4 goals.
Wow, yeah. Unbelievable, but no help from his teammates.
No.
So he has 11 goals this postseason, which is nuts. And the Knights just spread it around. Barbashev is second, Amato is second, Stone is fourth, Barbashev another one is third, Stevenson is fifth, and Eichel an empty netter to rub it in at the end. In terms of, Stuart Skinner, poor performance here.
Very poor.
28 of 33. Brissot for Vegas, 23 of 27. Good enough for a win here. You get the feeling there's going to be a lot of goals scored in this series. And that's going to be a long series. That's the feel I get. Michael talking, at least the Devils are there. Rangers are napping. We have had a goalie question all year, and we are still better than the Rangers. Really, really trying to get Tony tight here, I feel like.
Yeah, I guess so. We had goalie questions all year. We are still better than Rangers. First of all, I mean, that's just wrong. You didn't really have goalie questions all year.
Vanacek, the Conn Schmidt.
You had Vanacek in net the entire fucking season, actually, because Blackwood never really started. He was injured to start the season. So it was Vanacek all day long, all season. And now all of a sudden, kid can't hang. And it seems like Schmidt, I honestly, again, like I said, I wouldn't have pulled him. Yeah, he was making some mistakes, but it wasn't really so much Schmidt as it was just the Devils in general. Well, that's just my opinion, dude. And again, if you get swept here, it's not a good look.
Yeah,
at all.
You're almost better off losing.
You're better off not showing up at all.
Yeah,
basically is what you're saying. If
you
get swept. So, that's not good, dude.
And he says he's just speaking facts. Obviously, Tony disagrees with that.
It's not a fact.
And like I said a couple of days ago, you open up a window, what happens?
Oh, you both sound like bitter Rangers fans. LMAO. No.
I'm not even tight. I'm more concerned about the Yankees at this point. I mean, the Rangers, it's over. So what am I going to do? Cry?
Dude. I mean, I'm more concerned about you just spreading false information. Really, dude.
Yeah.
Keep watching the Devils in the second round.
I
will.
If they play like they did last night, they're not going to be around too much longer.
Honestly, dude, it's so funny now. All of a sudden, I feel like Michael, big Whalers guy, big Canes guy, bring him to Hartford. All of a sudden, it's just like, wow.
Oh,
Devils,
yeah.
Anyway, so the Oilers
series,
here.
No?
What?
Long series here?
For the Oilers?
I'm saying 7 games or no?
No, I said sweep. The Knights sweep the Oilers, dude. And honestly, I think that this game was very indicative of that because of the mistakes that the Oilers made. We talked a lot about the Oilers being a kind of a one-sided, one-trick pony type of team. It's obvious their goaltender isn't their strong suit. We know about Skinner. He's not a great goaltender. But honestly, Edmonton was just making stupid mistakes here. Of course, you mentioned the scoring capabilities of Draisaitl, scored all their goals. Second time in this playoffs alone this year that we see one player score 4 goals for their team and they still lose. Happened, most recently with the Stars, right? So, but again, Knights, I think, show a lot of grit as they go down 1 goal early. Leon Draisaitl on the power play. The power play for the Edmonton Oilers have been so efficient and precise. It's so dangerous. Probably, obviously, the best thing to do is to stay out of the penalty box here. Not let Edmonton go on the power play. They were, I think, 2 for 3 on their power play, I think. Let's see, dude. Yeah, 2 for 3 in the power play. Both goals coming from Draisaitl, obviously. But Draisaitl gets that first goal of the game here. Vegas answers back less than a minute later. A Barbashev goal. I think he ends up having 2 on the night, I believe. But it really was just Edmonton being taken surprised by the Knights forecheck. And it was just, again, like when it kind of, you open the window, starts pouring, all of a sudden one guy's in, gets the forecheck, puck gets a little loose. There's like 3 more Knights coming into the zone, getting ready for the puck, looking to get it on the tape of their stick and just put one past Skinner here. They do exactly that. And Barbashev is the guy to do it. Gets his second of the postseason here. And then after that, again, the Knights in transition here. Edmonton kind of struggling a little bit on defense. As we know, they aren't a great defensive team, but they try to get the puck out. Vegas is there. Edmonton, oddly enough, I don't know if they have more time here, but they make a line change. The Knights just literally they switch the ice on him, get the puck, long past the other end of the ice, get to the left winger. They stroll into the offensive zone. And then just like that, you have like 3 Golden Knights in transition from defense to offense, finding an open man, getting it past Skinner. Now, just like that, they're up 2-1. And then you have Matt Stone on the power play. At that point, Edmonton's a little frazzled. They commit a penalty. You're on the power play as the Knights. You're like, let's capitalize here. They do. They're up 3-1 just like that. You see the Draisaitl goal. That makes it 3-2. Draisaitl get on the power play. Had a ridiculous goal, actually, in the third where he was just kind of in the slot, and he just kind of like scoops the puck over Benoit, or however you say his name, I forget, over his shoulder, banks it off his back in the goal. You love to see that. But, I mean, other than that, I mean, it was just Vegas kind of taking advantage of the mistakes that the Oilers make, which they make those things often, more often than not, their offense ends up kind of handling, the other end of the game here to put them over the top and get a win. But the Knights were just swarming too much. Again, the team was so quick in transition from defense to offense. Oilers just couldn't defend it. There was open man on the other side of the end for the Knights a lot, and that's what, kind of led to the 6 goals there. So I think great job by the Knights, really dismantling the Oilers. Again, they kind of the Knights have to play their game here. You don't want to play into the Oilers' hands. Don't look, obviously you want to play defense here, but Oilers are going to be scoring, right? So you have to be focused on offense. If you're the Knights, you have to focus on pestering them physically, getting that forecheck in, being a team quick in transition. That's when the Oilers here are kind of most vulnerable. And that's what they did last night. They continue to do that. I mean, it's going to be a really tough time for Edmonton.
Does Florida go up 2-0 tonight?
Wow, that's so tough, dude. Again, with the way they're playing, yes, I say yeah.
Wow.
It's going to take, in my opinion, I've been saying it a lot for the postseason. It's going to take like someone from the Maple Leafs taking this game in their hands, like one single player. Like I'm talking like Tavares hat trick again, second of the postseason. I think that's what's going to take the Maple Leafs to kind of to spark something in this game, because Panthers are playing so physical. They're shutting people down. And you don't want to go down 2-0 right now to the Panthers. Again, better team on paper is the Leafs here, but the Panthers, like you mentioned, Cinderella run right now. Momentum is everything in hockey. This is a must win for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, and I disagree, though. I think they're going to win. I think they're just going to blitz Bobrovsky. He's going to end up getting pulled. And if Spencer Knight was there, Tony, he would get in the game. But obviously, they're going to go to their backup there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to say Maple Leafs are going to win that one 5-2. I really do. I think, Marner, Tavares, Matthews, all with goals. Matthews with 2.
Yeah.
And Samsonov gets the job done. And then we got a tie series heading to Sunrise, Florida. And then Kraken Stars here. Do the Stars even this series up at 1?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Stars, I mean, one thing one thing you saw in the last game, was just a back and forth goals. It was like Stars score, Kraken score. Absolutely ridiculous, honestly, in terms of just watchability of the game. But I think Stars come out here playing a little bit more of a defensive mind. Again, like, he's going to shut a couple players down. Bjorkstrand on Seattle is one of them who's been scoring so much this postseason for Seattle. You have to find ways to get a body on him, obstruct his chances, really. And I think Dallas does do that. You have the veteran players. Hopefully someone other than Pavelski is someone, on the scorecard for Dallas. You'll get Robertson, of course, as just the first name that pops in your head. So I would say give me Dallas here, 3-1, What do you think?
I think Seattle, they're destined, Michael. I mean, I don't know why I said
No, Michael.
He's a Destiny guy. That's why. He's a Destiny guy.
He's
a
Destiny
guy.
Michael. He's chirping with the Devils, dude. He's not even gonna watch the game tonight.
No,
or tomorrow night, right?
No.
He's not watching the game.
No,
dude.
exactly. But yeah, I think Seattle. I'm gonna say 3-0 here. Shuts them out. Goes up 2-0. They're ready for the Western Conference Finals. I can feel it, Tony.
Oh boy.
So just a couple of things here, on the way out. Another leaderboard update from Quail Hollow. It looks like we still have the same, names at the top here. I just did a quick refresh just to be certain, but we do have Streelman alone at 4 under par here. And now we have 4 golfers at 3 under, tied for second. Thagala, McIlroy, KH Lee, Taylor Moore, and Troy Merritt.
Hovland?
Hovland, that's actually interesting. Let's see what we got.
Dude.
Either he hasn't teed off or he's having a terrible start. What's your guess?
Hasn't teed off.
Victor
Hovland, 105.
Okay, yeah, hasn't teed off. Jason Day still +2 through 13. Unbelievable though. I really expected a better outing out of him. So yeah, we will
Michael
give you a leaderboard update tomorrow. I would not be surprised to see Segala and McIlroy at the top right now. They're tied for second. What's up, Michael?
Since I am, I'm going to Colorado to see it. That's kind of rude if you didn't invite us, Michael.
Yeah, right.
Very rude, dude.
So I think this. I'm looking forward to watching some of this tournament later. I'm sure the rerun on Golf Channel will be on.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
You're gonna watch it?
Yeah, no, I'll definitely watch some of it later for sure. Especially, I definitely want to watch the rerun of it because the Yankees are on tonight. So I mean, it's like, sure, the Lakers are on at 9.
Yeah,
I'll watch that, and I'll watch them blow out the Warriors. What's the Mets game is this afternoon though? No,
are you gonna watch it though? Like the rerun of the Mets game?
Oh, the rerun of the Mets game. Yeah, probably.
Really?
I mean, if Verlander's mowing him down, no.
Really?
I want to see if he hits 97.
Pretty sick. I bet he will.
Never know.
You want to watch the Devils game tomorrow?
The Devils game tomorrow. Come on, Tony. Yeah, maybe I'll see it in person. Actually, I didn't think about that.
Michael says tickets are pricey.
I can only get
one. That's crazy, dude.
Unbelievable. And I know Michael knows this, but yeah, Lakers are going to go up 2-0 tonight. Let me just tell you, 6-point underdogs after they took care of the Warriors in game 1 on the road. A complete sign of disrespect there. I expect AD to keep being a monster. The Warriors just don't have an answer for him down low. LeBron, I think, missed 15 shots last game. That's not going to happen again. I think he's a nice 30-point triple-double here. And D'Angelo Russell, I think a strong game. I could see him having double-digit assists, maybe 15 points. Austin Reeves, he's always good for 3 or 4 3-pointers. And yeah, I just think the Warriors are cooked. And I think it's just a different animal. Going up against the Kings, who haven't been in the playoffs before, when you're going against LeBron and AD, who have won a championship before. LeBron has won 4 championships, been in 10 finals. He knows how to navigate through these waters. And deep down, there's a revenge aspect in this. And I know different teams now, but for the Cavs to lose 3 out of 4 finals to the Warriors, that has to resonate with him, and he definitely kind of wants to have the last laugh here. And if he's able to knock them out here and go to a Western Conference Finals with a chance to win another championship, he's relishing for it. So we'll see about that. Also, the Celtics blew out the Sixers last night, which was odd because Embiid was back. They won the first game without him, but that's just how the NBA is. You just can't predict it. I'm not ready for that.
Michael Theophil, Steph, 65-point game, breaking Jordan's record.
You know what? Maybe he'll show his birth certificate. Maybe he's actually Michael's son too.
Him
and Jimmy are brothers, right?
I thought it was Anthony Edwards.
I guess that's another one.
Yeah, dude. Michael Jordan, really, he's getting around.
Yeah, which doesn't really surprise.
I thought he was full of shit.
Doesn't really surprise anybody. But yeah, a lot going on. I'm definitely gonna miss watching the Yankees tonight, but it's nice at least that they had a couple gritty wins. I want a Mets win for you, Tony, because I think that'll kind of re-energize, especially if Verlander's dominant. I think you'll be re-energized. What's the Mets record now? Is it like 17-16 or something?
Yeah, it's like a game over, 2 games over.
Yeah, so I mean, a win would be big. What's the next series? Do we know?
I personally do not. I think I can just look it up. Give me 1 second here. Let's see. Friday at home against Colorado.
Okay,
dude.
so an opportunity, and especially after you blew it against Detroit the first 2 games. Hopefully you win today. Go sweep Colorado. They're terrible. You're at home too, so it's not like you could use the altitude as an excuse for the pitchers giving up golf balls. So you just got to get it done at the end of the day.
Yeah, dude, and then Cincinnati after that. So it's like
come on,
dude.
That's
like,
it.
honestly, you should go on a fucking tear.
And I know obviously the age is concerning for you, but I mean, you have to think about it. I mean, Verlander did win the Cy Young last year, won a World Series. So
yeah,
there is hope, and it was a shoulder that was delaying him.
It was just like shoulder soreness. It wasn't anything like legitimate, really.
And he did well in his rehab appearances,
killing it.
And what did we say on the velocity? Was it 96 or no?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how he's able to do that. So, a shot in the arm. I think it would be helpful. You score 6 runs, easy peasy.
Yeah.
And then sweep Colorado, and then everything changes once again.
Literally,
the continuous
the
cycle.
pendulum swings, dude.
But other than that, Tony, anything else here on the horizon?
I don't think so.
Screen time tomorrow.
Screen time mañana. I don't know. Manny's videoing in.
Yep.
Jason is on assignment, so it might just be me in studio. I don't know.
Wow.
But it's gonna be a good episode. We got the Dune trailer coming up too, so I'm gonna do some more research, go over some good topics, dude. We're getting nitty and gritty tomorrow.
Let's go. So we appreciate everybody tuning in today and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page. Tony, Michael, Renee in costume. All the episodes of Sportsport, of Screen Time, of The Dream is Free, of Gaming Quarter, including last night's episode.
That's right, dude. Twisted Metal.
As well as the Mighty Morphin Power Plungers. A lot of you have already checked that out, but
Plumbers, Brian.
Whatever. We're close. I had it yesterday too, but whatever.
Did you say yesterday?
Yes, I did. Spring is in the air, according to Jim Nance. So definitely check out the spring collection, downtimetv.com. We want everybody to enjoy this fabulous Thursday, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.